Welcome to the Renegade Health Boss Podcast, where we push the boundaries of what's possible in health and wellness. I'm your host, Heather Gray, a certified functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and certified bioenergetic practitioner. And each week we dive deep into the world of physical, mental, spiritual health, biohacking, relationships. But we're not just talking about the basics. I'm bringing you conversations with the true renegades, experts who are challenging the status quo in their fields, breaking barriers, and uncovering the real truth behind what it takes to live an incredible, joy-filled, and optimized life. If you're ready to step out of the ordinary and step into a life of extraordinary health and happiness, you're in the right place. Let's get started on this journey to becoming your own Renegade Health Boss. And before we jump in, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Healthy drinking pure water is easy as the push of a button. Same thing with my hair doctor. Right now it's pissed off at me because I was doing my hair. So the fumes coming off me blow drying my hair is making it go overtime. But what a sense of just peace, of just looking over at it, knowing that it's doing its best to keep my hair the cleanest. This company is absolutely incredible. Third-party verified. They go above and beyond the standards of most other companies. Oh, there it goes. Look at that. Now my hair is clean. Make sure to go to my website, renegadehealthboss.com. Go to the shop and get yours, or click the link below.
Hey there, everybody. Thank you for joining me for another amazing episode of the Lyme Boss Podcast. I'm Heather Gray, aka the Lyme Boss. I'm a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and certified bioenergetic practitioner. And I like working with those fast-paced individuals who have unexplained gut issues, right? Brain fog so bad that they can't remember where they sat down their keys. And there's no word in the English language to describe the fatigue that they feel. Could it be undiagnosed Lyme and mold? I know it was with me, but those things can be caused from all sorts of other things other than Lyme and mold. And that's why I like to have the different guests that I have on. This isn't for just Lyme. This is for anybody who has fill in the blank, because when you address the root cause, right, of a lot of these issues, lifestyle, mindset, toxins, right, magic happens. And so today's guest is no different. She's actually a really awesome friend of mine. We've gotten to really know each other on a different level over this last year with some of the conferences that we were in. And I love it because she's a warrior, fighter, brave person like myself who just like jumps in and is like, let's rip off this Band-Aid, right? We're not afraid to get vulnerable. We're not afraid to get messy and screw up our makeup. It's, you know, if it's for the greater good of ourselves, right? Because that's how we learn. And so I absolutely love this woman, Dr. Amie Hornaman. Let's welcome her to the show.
Hi, Heather. Yeah, we laugh, we cry, we let our mascara run down our face. It's cool.
It's awesome. Cool. I love it. I love it. I'm like, sister, I see you.
Right.
Yes. So I noticed that a lot of folks, especially, you know, in the quote unquote alternative world, we got here because there's usually some sort of a story or a reason or a why, right? So I'd love to find out a little bit more about you, your background, and why are we talking about thyroid today, especially T2?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, I mean, just like you, we go through our own health crisis and it brings us a whole new awareness to the struggles that other people have out there. And that's really where, you know, both of us have a similar journey where you stop at some point in your journey, in your health journey of healing yourself. And you go, oh my God, how many other people struggle with the same thing and they're getting the same bunk answers and the same bad treatment. And what if they just stay there? They're never going to get better. So that's what kind of opens us up then to step out and help others. So my journey started, 25 some years ago when I was competing in fitness and figure competitions. So for those of you who don't know what that is, you got to diet down really hard. So you're eating basically chicken, broccoli, asparagus, you're hitting the gym twice a day. And your goal is to present. Now, I didn't like take steroids. I didn't look like a dude or anything like that. Like you think women bodybuilder, you think, oh man, they look like a man. Like, no. It was more the figure end of things where you had to look athletic and you had to be lean. So you really wanted to get your body to a lean, but yet muscular, athletic looking state. And, you know, I've done that. I did that diet. I did plenty of shows over and over and over again. So I knew how my body was supposed to respond. It wasn't like my first rodeo. But this one show I was getting ready for was a bigger show in the grand scheme of things. It was more competition, a little bit more on the line. And I had to check in with my coach every day, well, every week. And so I step on the scale, get my reading, check in with him how I'm doing, send him my measurements, and the scale's going up. And it's going up 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 15, and then 25. Once it hit 25, I stopped weighing because I couldn't take it anymore. So I believe that I gained probably around 35 to 40 pounds total. But after I hit 25 pounds, I fell into just a deep depression, self-loathing, self-blaming. Maybe I'm not doing something right. Maybe I will eat less and exercise more. Maybe if I take,
because we all know how that works.
Right. You just start self-diagnosing and self-treating because you're in this cycle of wanting to find an answer. And yet you're also almost blaming yourself like, oh, maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Well, then you stack upon that the medical gaslighting that I experienced. So I ended up going to 7 different doctors who all told me I was normal. Everything was fine. It's all in my head. Eat less and exercise more. You're just getting older, which that one cracked me up because I was in my 20s. So after all of these doctors, and again, this brings back that realization of what other people hear. Like I often think, my God, what if I would have believed doctor number 4? What if I would have believed doctor number 6? I wouldn't be here with you today. So all these doctors telling me that I'm normal, everything is fine. It wasn't until the last doctor touched my throat and said, swallow. And she says to me, oh, you have a goiter. You have a nodule on your thyroid. I believe you have Hashimoto's. We're going to do some testing, additional testing. We're going to do an ultrasound to confirm, and we're going to give you a pill. So I left there. I was pumped up. I was like, yeah, this is cool. I have a pill now that's actually going to help me lose weight and feel better. I was tired. My hair was falling out, the whole deal. So anyone listening, I get you because I was there. I walked that walk big time. And so I left the office. I'm thinking, yeah, I got a diagnosis now. And I took the pill for 5 months and it did nothing. Absolutely nothing. Turns out it was T4. So now we know some stats that T4 only in hypothyroid patients only work in about 2% of y'all. So if you're on T4 only and you're still gaining weight, you're not losing, you're feeling horrible, T4 only works in 2%. The chances of you being in that 2% are slim to none. And of that 2% of people that apparently say that it's working for them, I always scratch my head and I go, is it just that their norm is to be, 30 pounds overweight and tired all the time and they think that that's okay? That's normal. So keep going with the story. I find functional medicine, and that functional medicine practitioner saves my life. Puts me on T4 and T3. You need T3 for proper thyroid treatment. Puts me on T4 and T3, does all the right testing, addresses my hormones, addresses my insulin resistance, does all the things that we're supposed to do. And at that point in time, I had such a dramatic transformation. Literally, I got my life back. That's when I went into functional medicine, totally changed my career because just like I said in the beginning, you hit a point where you go, okay, I just went through the ringer. I'm definitely not the only one. And I was in a major city with a major medical system, UPMC, Pittsburgh, like the best of the best, right? It's like Mayo Clinic and Cleveland Clinic. But they're not. They're conventional doctors who are fallible and have not been taught about thyroid and hormones in med school. They don't know. So it took me branching out into functional medicine in my 20s, before functional was even a thing. It took me going that route to really get help.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's something that the Lyme disease world knows way too much about. Usually it's 20 to 30 to 40 practitioners before they get answers. It took me 27 years and 30 practitioners before I finally got my answer. 27 years.
Yes.
And it's so sad because I get some people that get so frustrated and they're like, well, I've already been to 20 people and nobody's been able to help me. And it's just like, well, keep going because what other choice do you have, right? Sit there and rot because that's where you're going to go. Like you have to keep going. You never know I always tell them, look at it beautifully. It's like we learned what's not working. right? So look at it as process of elimination. Next, okay, well, we know it's not that. Next, okay, well, we know it's not that. Same thing in sales, right? You got to go through 100 no's before you get a yes, but you can't give up.
Right. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. So then functional medicine completely, turned and saved around your life. So then like what were some of the benefits that you saw? Like how quickly did you lose weight and kind of get your life back after that?
Yeah. So, we started on T4 and T3 together, which was super beneficial for a while. So I wish I could remember the timeline. I want to say it took about 6 months for everything to really start happening for me to get back to my starting weights. And the energy that came back pretty quickly. The hair started regrowing pretty quickly. Obviously, I did the right supplements, the right nutrition, all of that, lifestyle components that are important. But I would say about 6 months to a year to really get optimized. Now, throughout my journey, I have also discovered that I don't convert T4 to T3. So T4 is the inactive thyroid hormone and T3 is active. So anybody that's listening who's like, what is she talking about, this T4 only stuff? T4 and T3 are your two thyroid hormones. There's actually 4 thyroid hormones. We're going to talk about the other one later, but there's 4 thyroid hormones, but T4 is inactive and T3 is active. So you need to convert T4 to T3 for it to actually attach to the cell like a lock and key and turn it on. So whether we're talking about your metabolism or your energy or growing your hair or turning cell turnover on your skin, being able to poop every day, all of that is dependent on your level of T3. So if we give you T4 only, and this is where that 2% comes in, if we give you T4 only, we're giving you the inactive thyroid hormone. Here's all the things that can impair conversion of T4 to T3. Insulin resistance, Lyme disease, different tick-borne illnesses, mold, estrogen dominance, genetic SNPs, iodine, magnesium, selenium deficiency. I mean, the list keeps going on and on and on. I had a practitioner write to me and she's like, so what do you do for reverse T3? I'm like, figure out exactly what's driving it up and give the person some damn T3 because it's going to make them feel better. But it might take you a long time. Like I started listing all the things that increase reverse T3 and it ended with a ... because there's so many different things. So it actually, when you say all of that and people sit and they go, oh my God, I have insulin resistance and I have Lyme and I have mold and I have all this. Right. So why in the hell would you be on T4 only? It doesn't even make sense. So that's where, when I found out I have a reverse T3 problem, I have a conversion problem, I am now just taking T3. So that I'm a T3 only candidate, but not everyone is, but that's kind of my whole entire journey. And now I'm completely optimized. I always invite people, I say, come join me in optimization land. It's a great place to live.
Absolutely. I love how you said poop daily. I like pooping daily, but how does that relate to pooping daily?
So your thyroid is the master gland. It's controlling every aspect of your body. So it's controlling the rate at which you burn calories or your metabolism. It's controlling your body temperature. So a lot of people will feel cold when everyone else is totally normal and totally comfortable. It's controlling your hair growth and it's controlling your gut motility. So the rate at which your whole GI tract starts pushing food through the system and eliminating. And that really slows down. So when you think hypo, think low and slow. So that even includes gastric motility. That's why most hypothyroid patients, especially those who are not optimized, I have this question on my intake form. How often you go into the bathroom? I will see 1 to 2 times a week. I'm like, oh my God, the toxins that are in you just going, I mean, you should be going a couple times a day. Yeah. So just FYI for anyone listening going, that's me. I'm like, no, that's not good. Yeah. You want to go a couple times a day.
It's funny how many people who don't realize that that's a thing. And they're like, oh yeah, pretty regular, about once or twice a week. And I'm like, no. Nice try. But yeah, it's sad. So on that, I love talking shit. On that note, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to dive deeper into T2, the forgotten thyroid hormone. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hey there. I used to not be able to drink coffee. I always reacted to it horribly. It hurt my stomach. It made me over jittery and would inflame me and cause histamine issues. but not anymore. Not that since I started drinking Danger Coffee by Dave Asprey. It's his next level of coffees. He came out with Bulletproof, and now this is the next level up. So it is mold-free, toxin-free, and he infuses it with minerals and electrolytes. So unlike other coffees, they can actually pull minerals and electrolytes from your system because it's too acidic. It actually helps replenish those. And so I don't react to it at all. I get to have my Bulletproof coffee with my MCT oil and my grass-fed butter, and I don't get the jitters, I don't get the crashes, and I love how focused and energized it makes me feel. Again, non-toxic, mold-free, infused with minerals and electrolytes. I absolutely love Danger Coffee. Make sure to check out my website, thelymeBoss.com. Go to the resource section and get yours. Awesome sauce. Thanks for joining us. I'm super excited on jumping into this second part because the thyroid, this is one that I have not played around with a whole lot, but I know how important it is. So I usually send out, my clients, I'll refer out to thyroid stuff because it's a whole nother language to speak, right? And, I have said something, I reversed my Hashimoto's, so I know that's possible. I know what it's like to have your thyroid out of whack and what it feels like and how you get your brain and your body and your energy back, once everything is working properly. So it's beautiful. And I love the thyroid whisperers like yourself out there in the world. So let's dive deeper into T2.
Okay. So T2, we mentioned there are 4 thyroid hormones, and we mentioned that T4 is inactive, T3 is active. There's also T1 and T2. T1 we can kind of just set aside. It's totally inactive. It doesn't do much at all. T2, however, I've been studying this for the last 15, 20 years. And when you really dive into the mechanism of action of T2, it is fascinating. So number one, it will increase your basal metabolic rate, meaning the amount of fat that you're burning at rest. And many, if not all, thyroid patients have a low and slow metabolism. So it's very, very rare. Occasionally I'll meet a thyroid patient that hasn't dealt with a weight issue, but most of us have either gained weight or you're in that place where you just can't lose weight. Like you're doing all the things, perfect diet, perfect everything, cleanses, the whole deal, and you just can't lose the weight. Well, T2 will increase your basal metabolic rate just on its own, without you doing anything else. So I like to joke and say, you can burn fat while watching Netflix. Now, don't just sit on the couch and watch Netflix. We want you to move. We still want you to move. But it will increase your BMR. It also activates brown adipose tissue. So we're all jumping into cold plunges, which is awesome, to stimulate VAT or brown adipose tissue. And this is the fat that you want on your body. This is the metabolically active fat. This is the type of fat that decreases insulin resistance and improves your insulin sensitivity, that helps with cholesterol levels, helps you actually burn the white squishy fat. That's the fat that clogs our organs, surrounds our organs. That's the fat that you're grabbing.
The technical term, white squishy fat.
White squishy fat. It's the fat that you grab and you go, this is what I want to lose, right? That's the white fat. The brown fat is really not really seen and not grabbable. It's more scattered throughout the body. It has a ton of mitochondria in it, which actually is what makes it brown. And that's what makes it so metabolically active. It's always churning. It's always working. It's always burning for you, providing energy, but also burning your stored body fat. So it helps us improve our metabolism. The other thing that T2 does is it activates ATP at the mitochondria. So it's turning on that ATP production, which the mitochondria is the powerhouse of your cell, and ATP is produced in the mitochondria. And that's really what gives us that cellular energy. It gives us energy to get us through the day, but it also helps all of our mitochondria function at a higher level. So the interesting thing about T2 is that number one, it's not a prescription. So everyone on T4 only, you don't have to go and beg your doctor for T2 like you have to beg your doctor for T3. T2 is available in supplemental form. That's actually why I put it in my thyroid fixer, because I've been studying this for 15 years. I was curious
how that worked when you gave me that and you're like, here, this helps T2. And I'm like, wait, how can she put a T2 in just a regular supplement without a prescription? I was curious about that.
Yeah, we don't want to tell the FDA because they'll F this up somehow.
Oh my God.
Right? They'll pull it off the shelf. I remember years ago, and this is probably about 20, 25 years ago when I was competing, for a short amount of time, T3 was available in supplement form. And then they pulled it. The FDA came in, they're like, nope, we're pulling it off the shelf because of course people were abusing it. Well, now here's the problem. And I can almost agree with them. T3 will burn your muscle and your fat at the same time. Now, listen, if you need it, you need it. I'm on T3. We use it. I use it with my patients. It's wonderful, but you don't want it to be abused because it can increase your cardiovascular. Well, it can increase your heart rate. So it can increase, cardiovascular issues if taken in an abusive way just to lose weight. And it has a host of other side effects that can make you anxious, jittery, cause insomnia. You don't want to abuse T3. I think, honestly, the reason why T2 is still available in supplemental form is it does not act on, it has no cardiovascular effect. It doesn't act on the thyroid itself. So it's not going to change your thyroid lab values to where your doctor is going to be like, oh my God, you're hyper. And it's not going to create an elevated heart rate. It's not going to cause that jittery, anxious insomnia thing that we get from a stimulant, which essentially T3 is a stimulant. T2 isn't. So I think that's why it is still available, thankfully, in supplemental form and over the counter, because it has no negative side effects. I mean, none. Like I've gone through all the published research on it. And there are 2 really strong human studies done on it. And the rest, of course, are done in rats. But even anecdotally, using it on my patients for the last 15, 20 years, I've seen no side effects. The only side effect is if you take it too late in the day, it produces, since it's not a stimulant, but it produces ATP, you almost get this nice steady energy. But I myself and a couple of my patients have taken it like 4 and 5 p.m. And then it's like by 10 o'clock, you're like, I can still work. I mean, I'm good. I'm not like tired or anything. You want to clean the house. So even though it's not like a jacked up stimulant energy, you're still kind of going. You just don't want to take it too late in the day. But it does provide that nice steady energy. And especially hypothyroid patients that have horrible, like you said in the beginning, like fatigue that you can't explain and there's no word for it. That comes with hypothyroidism as well. That exhaustion that is like a full body, indescribable exhaustion. So it's definitely going to help with that as well.
That's incredible. So what else does the wonders of T2 do?
So we also see some evidence. So let's talk about the human trials. So that's really where we like to focus, since that's what we are, right? So in the human trials, it showed let me get this straight, a 4% reduction in body fat in human studies, in the human subjects, I believe that was over the course of a month. And then another study showed an average 9-pound weight loss in 28 days. Now it's an average, some lost 2, some lost 10, whatever. But so we see that. And then we also see improved lipid profiles. Now, in general, I think the medical community freaks out over high cholesterol a little bit more than they have to, because we need cholesterol as a building block for hormones.
Amen.
But we do see, totally, right? Statins are given out like candy. That's a whole nother story. So we need cholesterol. You don't want to freak out if your total cholesterol is at 250. Like you're fine, you're good. But it will improve lipid profiles. It will improve insulin sensitivity. We know that insulin is a huge driver of inflammation and high cholesterol. So when we start to improve our insulin sensitivity and reduce our insulin resistance, yes, that's naturally going to help with weight loss, because the insulin is a fat storage hormone. You don't want too much of it. But it's also going to over here help us with our cardiovascular profile and our lipid profile.
That's incredible. I love it. Love it. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that part in, because it has been bastardized way too long. We've been demonizing, cholesterol, and it's no. Healthy fats are where it's at. We need them for our hormones. And for the longest time, that's why, in the 80s and the 90s, we had such a surge in like anxiety and depression, because everything went to low fat, which meant chemical shitstorm, which meant, people weren't getting the fats that they needed in their diet. And then their hormones were all jacked up. And then they wondered why we were having so many, issues in the brain and the body. So
yeah,
gotta love it. So what else do we need to know about our thyroid to be, in balance?
I always encourage people, because I have a ton of Lyme patients as well. I always encourage people, this is one of the key components, and you've experienced it yourself, Heather. It's a key component in your healing journey, because it helps shore up your body. I see more people respond or react to lime, to mold, to heavy metals, to what they're exposed to in their environment, they have a stronger reaction when their thyroids aren't optimized. But when their thyroids are optimized, and then we even kind of move into hormones and get your sex hormones balanced, it's like the body has a stronger foundation to deal with the onslaught that it's been given by our world. So whether it's chemical toxins or an existing, chronic Lyme situation, you're kind of shoring up your body a lot more to be stronger, to better able to deal with it. And I find that then when combined with a Lyme treatment protocol by somebody who knows what they're doing, like yourself, everything works together so much better. I mean, it's like a symphony. And I just find that people improve a whole nother level than if they just do one thing and then, 6 months down the road, I'm not improving. Oh, look, I have a thyroid problem that hasn't been addressed, or I'm on T4 only and I'm not optimized at all. It's like, no, let's do both together.
I'm screaming that at the top of the lungs. God bless the MDs out there, the Lyme literate doctors. But sadly, all too often, they're kind of going at things, the traditional model, and they're all about kill the infection. And they're not about supporting the host, right? You can't go to war with a person's body that's been sick and not working properly for decades, right? You need to support that person. And so, whether you work with somebody who can look at all those pictures, or you get a team right behind you, someone who's helping you, balance your hormones and your thyroid, someone who's helping with detox, someone's helping with mindset and, that type of stuff. But it all needs to be addressed. And yes, thank you. I know it can feel kind of overwhelming at first, but once you take that first step and you got people talking to each other and you know that this is going to be a journey that could take 3, 6, 9 months, a year, right? It's a marathon, not a race.
Yep.
So absolutely. Exactly. So what are, we're getting close here to the end. What is some last little nuggets that you kind of want to drop on folks before we sign off today?
Well, so you want to test and not guess. So if we are dealing with, if you're listening, you're like, maybe I have a thyroid problem. Maybe. Oh, but my doctor told me that I didn't, and then I was normal. Your doctor probably only tested TSH. So we want to get normal, air quotes. So we want to get the whole slew of testing. I want to look at your free T3, that active thyroid hormone. I want to look at your reverse T3 that tells me how you're converting T4 to T3. We talked about that, all the different issues that can come into play. If you have Lyme, then your reverse T3 is probably high, and we need to change up your medication, your dose, your treatment protocol. And then add in the T2 because it's not going to hurt. I get this question all the time. Well, what if I don't have a thyroid problem? Can I add in thyroid fixer? Yes, if you have weight to lose, if you have a slow metabolism, if the weight's not budging, if it's coming on, if you have low energy, then yes, you can add it in because again, it's not going to change your thyroid lab values. It's only going to help. So yes, you can absolutely add that in based on your symptoms and then go back over here and get all the thyroid tests done so that, hey, maybe you don't have a thyroid problem. That's awesome. Like, listen, not everybody does, but if you do, let's address it the right way.
Absolutely. Amen. That's just like what I was saying in the beginning is, yay, you found something that it's not, right? Process of elimination. Cool. Your thyroid's good. Next, let's keep moving down the line, right? Of trying to see what's going on here. Your thyroid fixer, I absolutely love. I love the way it tastes. Because I don't drink soda and other things, and sometimes water gets boring. So it's always a nice little treat. I love the way it tastes. But, I was starting to see some weight loss because in the first couple of weeks of using it, which was awesome, sadly, it didn't, I wouldn't say it stopped working for me. I actually got diagnosed with sleep apnea. I've got a deviated septum and a big lung, and I'm getting like my oxygen is dropping to 83% at night when I sleep, and I'm having 40 episodes an hour. So there's not a supplement in the world that can help overcome that, right? So I paused the thyroid fixer for a second, but actually after re-talking to you, I need to reorder it again.
Wait. You're on metabolism fixer. So metabolism fixer has T2 in it and thyroid fixer has T2 in it. So you can take either one. So thyroid fixer is a capsule. And metabolism fixer is the powder because you got some at Dragonfly when we were sampling it. Yeah. Is the powder. Now, the only difference is that metabolism fixer has a trademarked ingredient in it called Suppressa, And that helps suppress the appetite. That's why our big sign was better than Ozempic, because everybody's taking these GLPs to kill their appetite and eat less and whatever. This is a much safer way to do it. So that's going to take the edge off intense hunger. So if you're like, I don't really have a hunger problem, I'm good there, then take Thyroid Fixer. But if you're like, I'm ravenous and I can't control my cravings, then Metabolism Fixer, but both of them have T2 in it.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. But I need it now that I'm addressing the sleep apnea, because at that kind of, dysfunction, like I was saying, no supplement in the world is going to help me overcome the lack of oxygen that my brain is getting at night. So, again, you've got to peel back the onion. And so, I need to put in another order for that stuff, because I was really, truly impressed with, how quickly it was starting to work for me when nothing else was, right? I'm doing all the things, I'm 46. I had a hysterectomy a couple years ago. And now it seems like if I just walk past a chocolate bar, I gain 10 pounds on my ass, and it pisses me off, because it's like, I'm a practitioner, right? Like, I don't want to be the heavy practitioner, but at the same time, if your thyroid's not working right, if other things aren't working right, like, the struggle is real.
Struggle is real. It is. Yeah, I agree.
So I'm going to put links in the show notes, but if somebody wants to work with you, how do they go about doing that?
So they can go to dramieHornaman.com, click on book a call, and then just set up an application call. We like to go over where you're at in your health, what you've tried, what you're taking, all of that, really hear more about you, and then go over the programs. We have a variety of different programs that can address your needs. So we like to dive in and really talk to you and find out what one is the best. So that's the best way to do it.
Fantastic. Easy peasy. So Miss Dr. Amie Hornaman, blah, blah, blah. Why? I don't know. I'm tripping over my tongue all of a sudden. Thank you so much for your time today. It's always such a pleasure getting to connect with you. I absolutely adore your face and, love getting to spend time with you. So thank you again. Make sure that you join us next time and have a healthy day. Thanks for joining me. If you learned anything, even one little nugget in any episode, please do not keep us a secret. Like, share, subscribe, and leave a review on Apple, on Spotify. That is how we get this information out there, and we change this paradigm one person at a time. I can't do it by myself. I need your help. Also, make sure to know that disclaimer, anything that you hear on this, you cannot hold. Discovering Health LLC, Renegade Health Boss, The Lyme Boss, Heather Gray, liable for anything. Always consult your doctor before doing anything new. Do not take this as medical advice. This is your disclaimer. And then also, if you want to know the foundations of health, right? All that I talk about on how I get healthy, the absolute foundation, sleep, diet, exercise, what to eat, toxins, how to detox mold, all of it. You can get it in your own course at rhbcourses.com, right? Start your healing journey today as little as $79. Start today, rhbcourses.com. Stay tuned and thanks for joining us.